The strongest, most energetic people on earth aren't taking some secret supplement. They're eating a way most of us forgot. Europeans have held onto it, elite athletes swear by it, and it comes down to one idea nobody's advertising to you. Because you can't cram it into a greens gummy and sell it back to you for 40 bucks. That idea is nutrient density. And once you actually understand it, you can't unsee it. It's not about how much food is on your plate. It's about how much real nutrition are you absorbing. Vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, the building blocks your body actually is asking for. Two meals can have the exact same calories and be worlds apart in what they give your body. My mentor put it better than I ever could. He always said most people today are overweight and starving at the same time. Stuffed with volume, starving for nutrients. We are the most overfed, undernourished population in human history. And that's not a contradiction. It's the whole problem in one sentence. Because when you eat a big meal and you're hungry again an hour later, that's usually not willpower. And it's not a broken metabolism. You ate a lot of food, but almost no nutrition came with it. So your body just keeps the hunger signal switched on.
I'm getting hunger signals again. What the heck?
It's still hunting for what it actually needs. Nutrient-dense food is what finally turns that signal off. You end up eating less without forcing it because for once you're actually full the way that your body is meant to feel. And here's what makes people mad when I say this out loud. I've had dietitians, people with credentials come after me on some of my viral posts for calling out chips and seed oil snack foods. And every single time I notice the same thing. Nobody's actually arguing that that food is nutritious. They're just arguing, hey, those seed oils aren't bad for you. But they don't actually talk about, is this meal filling you up? So I'm going to say it. And then I'm going to show you what to eat instead. 12 of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Number 1, grass-fed beef liver. If there's a single most nutrient-dense food on earth, this is it. One small serving outpacks almost anything in the produce aisle for vitamin A, B12, folate, copper, and iron. And these aren't the weak, hard to absorb versions. These are the forms that your body can actually grab and use right away. This is where the phrase nature's multivitamin came from. And the irony writes itself. We take the most nutritious food there is, throw it in the trash, and then buy a synthetic capsule trying to imitate it. Now, most people won't cook liver straight, and I get it. The taste is a real wall. So here's the easy way in. Nowadays, there are companies that are blending grass-fed liver right into your regular ground beef. You cook it like a normal burger or a stir fry, and you can't taste the organ meats. You get the most of the nutrition. This is a great place to start. Number 2, organ meats in rotation. Heart, kidney, spleen. Liver's the headliner, but the other organs each bring their own thing. Heart is one of the best sources for CoQ10. Kidneys bring selenium and B12. You don't need much and you don't need it daily. Once a week. You can work these foods into a stew or ground into your beef. Number 3, wild salmon roe. We're talking about the fish eggs. One of the single richest whole food sources of omega-3s, EPA, and DHA you can eat. Plus, it contains choline, which is so important for your brain and nervous system. It also contains astaxanthin, the antioxidant that gives it that deep orange color. And notice the pattern that's going to keep showing up on this list. Nature packs the most nutrition into the thing that has to build an entire new life, the roe, the egg, the seed. If you want nutrient density, follow the food that's designed to become something. Number 4, pastured egg yolks. We spent 40 years terrified of the single most nutritious part of the egg. The yolk is where nearly everything lives. Choline, the fat-soluble vitamin A, D, E, K, the minerals, the healthy fats. The white is basically just protein. Eat the whole egg if you can, but make sure you're getting them from pastured hens because what's in that yolk follows what a bird ate. A hen that eats grass and bugs lays a completely different egg than one stuck in a barn eating feed. You can see it in the color of the yolk as long as that yolk hasn't been dyed, which a lot of farmers are doing nowadays. That's a separate conversation. Number 5, raw milk or kefir from a regenerative grass-fed farm. Straight from a healthy grass-fed cow, raw milk is genuinely a different food than what's in the supermarket carton conventional dairy. It keeps its enzymes intact, things like lactase and lipase that actually help you digest it, which is a big part of why a lot of people who think they're lactose intolerant do just fine on raw milk. It also keeps its beneficial bacteria, its fat-soluble vitamins, and its proteins in their natural, undamaged form. So now the obvious question, if that's true, why does pasteurization exist at all? And this is the part almost nobody explains. Pasteurization didn't show up because milk is naturally dangerous. It showed up to solve an industry problem. When you build a system that pools milk from thousands of cows, packed into confinement, and ships it across the country to sit on a shelf, you create the exact conditions where contamination becomes likely and shelf life becomes everything. Pasteurization kills the pathogens, buys you shelf time, but it's a fix for a mass production problem, and it comes at a cost. That same heat denatures the enzymes and damages some of the nutrients that made the milk worth drinking. So pasteurization isn't proof milk needs cooking, it's proof that industrial milk needs cooking. And that points straight at the real issue, the health of the animal. The average conventional dairy cow in this country is not a well animal. Confinement, grain instead of the grass its body is built for, pushed to produce unnatural volumes, often on antibiotics just to keep going in those bad conditions. Milk from a sick, grain-fed, confined animal genuinely does need to be pasteurized because the system it came from isn't clean. Milk from a healthy grass-fed cow on a small farm where you can look at the operation is a fundamentally different starting point. Raw dairy is only as good as the farm it came from. It's regulated differently everywhere, so know your source. Make sure it's legal where you live, and if you're pregnant or immune compromised, be extra careful here. If you can't find a raw source you trust, kefir's your on-ramp. Easier to source, and it brings the probiotics. Number 6, slow simmered bone broth. Not the stuff in a carton. I mean actual bones simmered for hours until everything comes out of them. This is the collagen. It's glycine. It's deeply absorbable minerals, and it's the stuff that helps repair and rebuild your gut lining. It also helps with your joints, your skin, your connective tissue from the inside out. Every traditional culture on earth simmered their bones. They made sure nothing got wasted. We're the first generation to routinely throw the bones away and then go buy a collagen powder to add to our coffee. Number 7, fermented foods. Real sauerkraut, kimchi, natto, kefir. Not the shelf-stable vinegar stuff, the living refrigerated kind. This is the one category on the list that fills a gap none of the others do. Your gut bacteria. You can eat the most nutrient-dense food on earth, but if your gut isn't working, you don't absorb most of it. Fermented foods bring the live cultures that keep that system running, which means everything else on the list works better. All you need is a forkful with a meal. That's it. Now, before I give you back half of the list, I have to explain the thing underneath all of it because it changes how you hear the rest. The soil. The minerals in your food don't come from nowhere. Plants pull them out of the soil, and animals get them by eating those plants. So your nutrition is only ever as rich as the ground it started in. And over the last several decades of industrial farming, we have genuinely stripped the trace minerals out of our topsoil, which means that even a clean, organic vegetable today is not the same vegetable your grandparents ate. The research on this points to meaningful drops in the mineral content of common fruits and vegetables over the last 50 to 70 years. Minerals like magnesium, iron, zinc, and calcium are quietly declining across the board. This is the missing piece behind so much of the fatigue and the deficiency people can't explain. So the fix is simple. Once you see it, you go to the foods the depletion never touched, the ones that don't depend on modern farm soil at all. And that's exactly what the back half of this list is. I also want to recommend if you do source your vegetables from regenerative farms, that's a great solution as well. Number 8, sea vegetables. Kelp, nori, dulce, wakame. The ocean never got mineral stripped the way farmland did. It's the mineral bank of the whole planet. Everything that washes off the land eventually ends up out there. So sea vegetables are absolutely loaded with iodine and trace minerals that most people are quietly running low on. You're not eating bowls of this. You're adding a little consistently. Number 9 is one of my favorite superfoods, shilajit. This one's the ancestral wild card, and it fits the soil story perfectly. It's a mineral-rich resin that literally seeps out of mountain rock over centuries, and it carries over 80 trace minerals plus fulvic acid. And that fulvic acid is the key because its whole job is to help shuttle those minerals into your cells. It is about the closest thing there is to drinking the minerals straight out of the earth. That is the earth before we depleted it. Also want to make sure if you're taking a shilajit supplement, make sure it is lab tested for heavy metals. Number 10, moringa, the leaf of the moringa tree, usually as a green powder, although there's also some liquid moringas that are pretty amazing. It brings vitamins, a broad spread of minerals, antioxidants, and genuinely is a complete plant protein, all 9 essential amino acids, which almost no plant can say. Traditional cultures across Africa and India have leaned on it for generations for exactly that reason. A teaspoon in a smoothie is an easy, dense green upgrade. Think of it as the plant that packs the most into the smallest amount, but you really want to get a concentrated moringa extract for optimal absorption and benefits. Number 11, matcha, stone ground whole green tea leaf, ideally ceremonial grade. So you're drinking the entire leaf instead of steeping it and throwing it out. That means the full load of antioxidants plus L-theanine, the amino acid that gives you a calm, steady focus instead of that jittery spike coffee hands you. It's the energy source I reach for when I want to be switched on but not wired. Number 12, raw wild honey, the real stuff, straight from the hive, not the ultra filtered squeeze bottle that's basically just sugar syrup wearing a bear costume. Raw wild honey still carries trace enzymes, antioxidants, and minerals that get processed right out of the commercial stuff. Now, it's still sugar. I'm not giving you a free pass to just pour it on everything, but as a source of quick, dense energy, it's about as ancestral as it gets. Every culture historically that found honey treasured it. It's a nutrient-dense energy instead of empty energy. And that one distinction is the entire point of this video. So if you take one thing from all this, let this be it. Stop chasing the volume and the macros and start chasing the density and the micronutrients. Quit measuring your food by how much is on the plate and start asking how much is actually in these foods. Your body finally stops nagging you for more because you gave it what it was asking for the whole time. That's the secret that ad money never wanted you to have. All these supplements being sold on the market, you can get these nutrients from food. It's just food, real, dense, ancestral food, the way people ate for thousands of years before someone figured out how to sell them a gummy instead. If you want the exact food-first protocol I actually use, the handful of things I lean on to cover the gaps that even a great diet leaves, especially focusing on the mineral gaps the soil created, without falling for the multivitamin trap that everyone's pushing on Instagram, it's the essential nutrient protocol, and it's linked in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more.